Okay, so I'm starting off this look by priming my eyes. This one is the Stay Don't Stray primer from Benefit, and I am applying the shade Medium Deep. So just simply applying that onto the lids and then blending it all out using my clean ring finger. To begin the look on the eyes, I am using the Flower Child shade from the Tartelette in Bloom palette, which is the only palette that I'm going to be using for this entire eye look. And I'm simply going to be applying a light layer of that using my large shader brush from Sigma. This is my E60. Next from the palette is going to be the shade Sweetheart, and I'm grabbing it using my Sigma E40 tapered blending brush and simply applying that onto the crease using circular and windshield wiping motions, just back and forth buffing that color in. Moving on to the next shade, this one is Rebel from the palette. I'm grabbing it with my blending brush from Sigma, this one is the E25, and tilting my head to actually get a kind of a rounded edge along the eye socket. So I'm just applying it onto the mobile lid area, but only the crease around the mobile lid area. I usually like to wing out my shadows a little bit, but for this particular look, I wanted it to be a little bit more rounded around the edges. And then going back with my Sigma E40 but without adding any additional product, and simply doing this in order to get rid of any sharp edges that may have been left. Next, I'm grabbing the color Leader from the palette using the same brush that I used in the previous step, so the E25 blending, and I'm tilting my head once again to make sure that I continue that roundness on the outer portion of my eye. And the way that I'm applying this is by simply patting it onto the lid. I find that I have a little bit more control when I do this as opposed to just dragging it right on the lid. When I pat it, it's a little bit more precise in my opinion. So just simply doing that and building up that color intensity. And I'm also bringing that from the outer V into the crease. And then going back again with my E40 without adding any additional product onto the brush. This is simply going to allow me to blend out any of the edges. And then just simply continuing this pattern until I've reached the desired intensity of color. So I usually do this in order to help with the blending process. It's a lot easier for me to blend it out in between applications of shadow rather than to try to blend it all out in the end. I don't know. I've just, through personal experience, that's what I think. Whatever you're comfortable with, of course, continue doing that, but that's just what I do. After spraying my brush with some MAC Fix Plus, I went ahead and I grabbed the shade Funny Girl from the palette and started to pat that along the inner 2/3 of my mobile lid area. So I'm leaving the outer third completely untouched because I don't want to cover up any of that shadow. And of course, I'm stopping right before the crease because I don't want to cover up any of that as well. And then going back with my blending brush in order to run that along where the lid color and all the other colors meet so that there isn't a harsh line in between. Using my Maybelline Eye Studio gel liner in Blackest Black and the tiniest winged liner brush that I own, this is the E06 from Sigma, I'm going to be applying a pretty nice wing, not too intense, not too thick, not too elongated, but just, you know, your average wing. And for lashes today, I'm keeping it light and simple with some Ardell Demis. For brows today, in order to define them and fill them in, I am using my L'Oreal Brow Stylist Definer. And I'm currently using the shade Brunette, but I don't know. I think this might be a little bit too light brown for my liking. So I think next I'll be purchasing the dark brunette and see if I like that one a little bit better. However, like I said before, this is a total dupe for the Anastasia Brow Wiz, so if you love that one, then you definitely want to look at this one. Although the shade variety on this one isn't the best, it's still a good dupe. And then setting my brow hairs in place using my Cella Eyebrow Defining Gel. To color correct my dark circles today, I'm going to be using my Becca Under Eye Brightening Corrector and applying that onto the entire under eye area using my Precision Angled brush from Sigma. This is the P84. Of course, not everybody needs color correcting, so if you're fortunate enough to skip this step, go ahead and do so. For foundation today, I decided to go with my MAC Studio Fix Fluid, and I am currently in the shade NC40. So simply applying this with my finger onto different sections of my face and then just working that product in using my damp beauty blender. For concealer today, I'm using my MAC Pro Longwear Concealer, and I am currently using the shade NC35. So simply applying that with my ring finger onto the entire lower eye area before going in with my Beauty Blender and blending it all out. And of course, if you hate creasing as much as I do underneath the eye, you have to set that. I choose to set it with the RCMA No Color Powder. It is by far the best translucent no color powder that I've ever used in the history of me using makeup. So if you've yet to discover this little gem, or if you've yet to try it, definitely give it a try. It's so inexpensive and it'll last you forever. For lips, I'm going to start off by using my Stila Water Plumping Primer. I usually like to prime my lips whenever I'm going to be wearing any kind of a dry formula on them, because I feel like this definitely makes a difference and it doesn't allow my lips to feel like they're just going to crack throughout the day. To finish off the eyes, I'm going in with my Roller Lash Mascara. This one is from Benefit. It is amazing on its own, but here I am just choosing to use it in order to amplify the lashes and to combine my false lashes with my real lashes, and also to make my lower lashes stand out. For contour, I'm going to be using my Smashbox contour palette and just using the contour shade on the hollows of my cheeks by simply applying that using my small contouring brush. This one is from Luxie. It is their 512. And in order to bronze up the face a little bit, I'm using the same brush and the Estee Edit Barest Bronzer. This one is the light medium. I love this stuff. It just gives you a really natural, subtle bronze without making it too noticeable that you have bronzer on. For blush today, I'm going to be using the Becca and Jaclyn Hill face palette, and I'm going to be grabbing the shade Pamplemousse from the blushes and applying that onto my cheeks using my large angled brush. This one is from Luxie. It is their 504. And for highlight, with the same palette, I'm grabbing the shade Prosecco Pop and applying that with my tapered highlighter brush. This one is also from Luxie. It is their 522. And I'm simply going to somewhat bathe in this. I really wanted that glow today. I really wanted to have this really nice glow that you can see from really far away. I don't know, I was really feeling it, and so I just went with it. So I'm applying this onto the entire cheek area, onto the tops of my cheeks, like the cheekbone area, the temple area, the bridge of my nose area, the cupid's bow area, and just continuing to apply it until I blind someone from across the street. To finish off the look for the lips, I'm going in with the new Milani Metallic Lip Creams. The first one that I'm applying is the Materialistic, and I'm applying that onto the entire lip area. And the second one that I'm going to be applying to the inner lip area, I guess you could say, is the Chromatic Addict. And then I'm simply going to be taking my finger and just blending the two out around the edges in order to kind of create this ombre, if you will, effect on the lips with these two metallic lip creams. And that completes it. Thank you all so much for watching. I truly hope that you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it for you. As always, take care, and I will see you next week.